Shalom. First and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Achakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. To the Israelite foreigners scattered throughout the four corners of the earth who may look like the heathen nations. And to the very few sisters that listen and learn, to you, Shalom. I'm the brother Yasharala with Great Millstone, Chicago. And just going to go through the spirit right now. I got a couple of precepts I thought of during the intro. Basically, today we had a Friday camp, and we're going into, the downfall of Esau and him going into captivity, etc. So I had a scripture that didn't come out on the line, but I'm gonna bring it out now. And how willing is edifying. Let me see this really quick. Okay. So we read this scripture at camp, Revelations 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So the ones who led us into captivity are going to go into captivity. So the ones who who led us to be slaves are going to be going to be slaves. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So the ones who murdered with the sword, they have to face the same judgment. It's a lucky for all the noise. I got my nieces and nephews here, and they're going freaking crazy. But this is basically a payback. All right, and it also says, here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So the saints have faith and believe. And that word patience is into suffering, which, we're patiently waiting. We're suffering through this captivity, all right, to get put in our kingdom. So the saints, Yahweh willing, we're a part of that. We get to do that to them, what they have done unto us, all right. And you're gonna have those Edomites that are gonna try to get out the jam. They'll say something like, "Well, that wasn't me. That was my ancestors. Those were our ancestors, and not everybody had slaves. It was just a small number of so-called white people." Well, first of all, you guys benefited from it. Okay, you guys had a 500 year head start. All right, over so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And not only that, but you are those people coming back in the reincarnation, because how are the saints going to lead those into captivity who led them into captivity? How are the saints going to kill them with the sword that were killed by the sword? It only makes sense by reincarnation, them coming back to fulfill this scripture. All right. But that was the past. We move on now, No, let's see what the scriptures say. Ecclesiastes 3:15, it says, that which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and God requireth that which is past. All right, so there's nothing new under the sun. All right, and God requires what has happened in the past. So what was done is going to be required. There's going to be a payback for that. All right. That double. All right. They're going to get filled double for what they have done. As a matter of fact, I just want to see what happens when I put in slavery. Let's see what it says. All right. What we get. Let's go to images. I'm seeing, what do you see? You see Esau over here. auctioning off the mother and the daughter, separating the families. You know, look what it says in the corner. It says sale. You know, here it looks like they're branding this woman. Esau taking away the baby. You know, so, and this is just what he did to the Southern Kingdom, to you so-called Negroes. All right, you still have the natives and the so-called Hispanics. He did this to them before he did this to you Negroes. All right, because remember, he had to come to this land and take over it first. All right, nonetheless, you know, Esau's definitely going to take this down if we keep on looking at those pictures. All right, so nonetheless, let me see. It says that we're going to keep the laws in the kingdom, right? When you go to Isaiah 2, we're going to teach the laws. All right, Hebrews 8 says we're going to have the laws written in our minds. So when we're in the kingdom, we're going to be keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments perfectly. Let's see what the law says. Exodus 21 and Exodus 21 and 20. I'll get to the point. 24. It says, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. And if a man smite the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. Okay, now that's going into a servant. All right, but as far as, you know, the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. So basically, hey, all that they did to us. All right, where's that one picture we just had? Stripe for stripe. Hey, all those lashings he dished out. Guess what? He's gonna get those returned back to him. All right. You know, there was a famous picture where you got the guy they burned him up. You know, they had him all, he looked all crispy, burnt up. You know, that's that burning for burning. They're going to receive that as well. Life for life. All right. So all of this, they're going to get paid back for doing. All right. All right. 2 Thessalonians 1:6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. So it's a righteous thing to get paid back. Everybody's like, oh, God is all love. You know, we got to forgive and we got to blah, blah, blah. All right. But you got to understand, the nation that did this to us, mind you, all you heathens are going to get it. All right. Every one of you. Let's get that as a matter of fact. The one who's going to get it the worst is Esau, Edom. All right. And the scriptures say that they touched the apple of the Lord's eye. So you don't think there's going to be a payment for that? What is that? Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore are they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So there you have it. They're all going to have to go through that. All right. They're all going to go into captivity. Every single nation except for Esau is the one that's going to be done away with. All right. Isaiah 14:1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. So Yahweh is going to set us in our land, not the nation of Israel setting themselves up in the land. No, Yahweh's gonna do it. It says And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Now these strangers are Israelite foreigners. All right, we were all strangers one at a point in time before we woke up to this truth, and we clave on to the house of Jacob. We clave on to the apostles. We clave on to the elders. All right. They were strangers right now because we're not in our land. All right. Verse 2. Hey! I'm about to get the belt on these kids. Verse 2. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So now these people are the heathens. Verse 2 is talking about the heathen. They're going to be put into slavery because we got put into slavery. We were their slaves. They're going to be our slaves. They oppressed us. Now we're going to oppress them. All right. Thus saith the scriptures. Something straight, quick to the point. How willing it was edifying. Till next time. Shalom.